Okay, just to start off, I'm gonna explain what got me rethinking about this subject in our From class. Our teacher was talking about a lot of stuff, and he ended up saying, "So, what makes a bad shark?" And after we all sat there because we didn't understand the question and there was an awkward silence, he finally said that a bad shark, one without teeth, or one that is um, like wanting to come up and cuddle you instead of attacking you. And he went on, he brought that on to the idea of these two siblings, these two boy siblings are just constantly fighting with each other, and the idea that just boys will be boys, and the idea that our culture just has this rigid black and white definition for everything. Um, Whether it is how you're supposed to act or how you're supposed to relate with people. Personally, I think there is a very big difference between the idea of gender and sex. I think that you can be biologically male or female, and you can also choose to switch between that. But that's not really what I want to talk about. It's more the idea that our culture has these strict definitions of what gender is. We have, if you come out and you are a boy, your parents, and I'm probably would be guilty of this too. Your parents officially go out and buy blue, and they, think about how you're gonna play baseball, or you're gonna be strong, or even how you're gonna wear a suit and tie, or have hairy legs, or just anything like that. And then if you come out as a girl, then you are already deemed as pink, and you have makeup and dresses and hair products. And I was watching this one video where it's like kind of asking these little kids what they think of certain gender roles, and they're like, do girls have long or short hair? And they all said long hair, and boys have long or short, they all said short hair. It's just these subtle, except not really subtle at all, identities that people have placed on these genders of girl and boy in our culture. Um, and so I really truly think that gender is just an identity, and tons of people end up switching them. In our culture, we have the black and white, the boy and girl, as our culture loves to do, just make things black and white. Kind of an example, sort of on the same concept of identity, is being gay, your sexual orientation. People, I think nowadays, a lot of people that I talk to, they are pretty accepting of gay people, like the people that I'm around. They don't really have that much of a problem with it anymore. I know not everybody, but some people don't. And then, you talk about being bisexual, and so many people are like, oh, they're just curious, oh, they're just figuring it out. And so there's this idea that you're either straight or you're gay, and you can't really be either one. But I don't think a lot of people understand that being bisexual isn't a phase, and it's not just being curious or confused. Just because they don't conform to these black and white rules doesn't mean they're confused. They might just, sometimes like a couple girls, but mostly like guys. Or they might just sometimes like a couple guys, or just want to get close to a guy, but really want to do other things with a girl. Like, there's just so many different complicated ways about it, and I think it's a hard thing for a lot of people to grasp, that you can be a mix of all this stuff. Going back to gender, we have our black and white girl boy. And so some people, we call them transgenders, but it's not widely accepted. A lot of other cultures have accepted a lot of different types of gender. Indonesia, I was just watching a video on this too, has 5 different genders. They have men, women, and I'm probably going to say this wrong, but it's like bisu or something like that. And then they have 2 more. And so the other 2 are like a man who lives her life as a girl, or a woman who lives his life as a guy. And that's just how they identify, and it's totally accepted. And they always talk about how it, like, the world would be unbalanced if one of these genders was not there. This is still splitting it into these 5 different categories, but I think there is an infinite amount of possibilities for how you relate to your gender. And I think that your biological parts shouldn't have anything to do with this, but unfortunately the culture that we live in has us, from the moment that we're born, kind of pegged as where we're gonna be, like our role in the house and stuff like that. One of the reasons why I think this is just bad, and I know that the majority of people find that it works out for them. You know, being a girl, you're a girl, it's who you are. You know, you love the makeup and the dresses and all that stereotypical stuff, but I feel like a lot of people grow up and they think something's wrong with them. They think they're broken. The fact that they're a boy and they want to wear a dress is just absolutely ridiculous. And I would love to live in a world where that was completely accepted, where people could do whatever they want, and not even on that big of a scale, but just the common idea of, like, crying at a sad romantic movie, which I know I do, and I know that that's the stereotype that a lot of girls do, but the fact that a guy can cry at a sad, sappy movie and a girl cannot care about it, is kind of weird. I feel like if I told someone that I, laughed when they broke up or something, like, I would be looked on as, like, a horrible person, but then if a guy said that, it'd be totally fine. So the idea of just being able to be who you are, opposed to what your gender role, as our society has put it, is supposed to be, is just something that a lot of people can't do and they're afraid of, and I really wish that the world was just more accepting in this way. So I guess where I'm coming from with all of this is that this idea of being a bad shark, or boys will be boys, or girls will be girls, are just kind of concepts that irritate me, and I'm sure irritate a lot of other people, but it's one of those things that we don't really look at as often, because I think that a lot of people consider these things as with your sexuality, and I think that the core problem with it is the idea of what your gender is. And I don't think that you should have to put a label on your gender, and I think that from birth we shouldn't have to be labeled as blue and pink as a boy or a girl. I think that that should be completely based on your biological characteristics and not on anything else. I don't think we should be expected to want to be a part of ballet or a part of football just because of the sex and biological parts that we have. So, thank you for listening.